So I am obviously very late to this. I'll explain why in just a second, but I've finally had some proper hands-on time with Season 3 of Star Wars Hunters, and today I wanted to give you guys my very late review of Season 3 so far. Now, I did mention it in the last video that I uploaded, so I'm sure some of you guys know already, but the reason I haven't been uploading is just because I was away over the last weekend and pretty much the start of this week, and so it was just the worst timing. It was literally the day after the season launched that I was heading away, which, like I said, meant that I couldn't actually get my hands on the game. But I have been playing for the last 2 or more days now to try and get a good idea of how the season is going so far. And I have watched a lot of content from other creators who are covering the game to kind of get their thoughts on it as well while I was away. And so with that being said, let's get stuck into my own thoughts on Season 3. Now, obviously the key addition to Season 3 is Pilbush, the new Ewok hunter who has been added to the game. And I'm not going to lie, she is very fun to play. Probably the funnest of the 3 that have been added so far, at least immediately. Anyway, I would say that over time, Arental really did grow on me. He wasn't really that enjoyable at first because he was a little bit weak. So I'd probably put those 2 about equal as of right now. But in terms of when they first launched, I'd actually say that Pilbush is probably the funnest of the lot. Now, not only is she fun, she's also pretty decent too. She is definitely very viable without being like the best in the game, which is, I think, the perfect way to do it. A lot of games will add new heroes, or even in shooters it will have like the new weapon is just by far the best, and that's because they want everyone to buy it and, you know, use that new weapon. And I do get that, but it makes it really frustrating, especially in a game like this where only one person per team can actually play as Pilbush. If she was completely broken and just by far the best in the game, then that can really cause some issues, and it can kind of border on pay to win because obviously we have to pay money to get Pilbush. So I think the way they've done it is great with pretty much all 3 of the hunters so far. They're all very viable. You can use them, you can do well, but they're also very clearly not the best in the game, and that is definitely the best way to do it. She feels very similar to Chaos in that sense, where Chaos felt really viable. I was actually using her in ranked quite a lot last season, at least at the start, and yeah, you can actually do really well in ranked, even though she definitely wasn't the best either. Probably the best part about Pilbush is just the combination of abilities. I love using the Wisties and then actually sort of pairing that with just a regular weapon. The grenade launcher is pretty hard to hit at times. It feels like the hit registration is just a little bit off sometimes. It feels like the grenades kind of go straight past an enemy and it looks like it should have hit them and blown up, but it just goes right past them. Using that Wisty ability though, that obviously deals a bit of damage, but it also slows them down and makes them a lot easier to hit. And it's just a really fun combination. I also really enjoy how sort of quick her movement is, especially with that massive jump that she has to get out of really tough situations. And on top of that, she's got a really fun ultimate as well, that if you use it in the right situations, you can get some pretty massive multi-kills with it. I think it's one of those abilities that is pretty much bordering on overpowered, but it does have a skill gap in that if you don't put it in the right spot, you'll get 0 kills with it too. So it's not just completely overpowered. You do have to kind of pick your moments to actually make it work properly. Pretty much my only complaint so far with Pilbush is just to do with kind of the feeling of constantly spamming grenades. It's different if there's just one in the game, but if there's 2 Pilbushes, 1 on each team, it does feel like there's a lot of explosive spam going on, which isn't that bad right now, and potentially in the future it won't matter either. But I just know that in a lot of other games, when there is a lot of explosive spam, it can get kind of annoying, and so I just hope that doesn't happen in the future. But like I said, as of right now, that's not something I'm really concerned about. Now with this season, we also did get the new Hoth map, and I've got to say, I really like it so far. It is, once again, just like Vader's Castle, probably my favorite in the game, or at least, you know, definitely top 3 favorite in the game. And that is definitely what I want to see when they're adding new maps into the game. I love that it's just immediately into the action. You can literally get, you know, if you're playing power control, you can get to the B flag in genuinely what feels like 3 seconds. I think every map should be like that, to be honest, or not every map, but I think it's just really enjoyable when there's a lot of maps that are just sort of straight into the action. I understand the need for bigger maps, so I'm not going to say every map should be like that, but it is definitely a lot of fun. And to sort of balance that out, they've obviously got the verticality too. They've got the little like underground cave system, because obviously without that, the map would be pretty damn small, but because of the verticality and kind of the 2 layers to it, it doesn't feel small at all, even though I guess the surface area of the top of the map is pretty damn small at the end of the day. Like I said, with the last 2 maps being this one and Vader's Castle, they have absolutely cooked. They have made probably my 2 favorite maps in the game, at least both in the top 3, and at least in terms of the aesthetics, they are definitely number 1 and 2 for me, as well as just being a really nice mix where one of them is a snow map and one of them is a lot darker and it's obviously got lava everywhere. One thing I really can't stand in multiplayer games is when they add multiple maps that kind of just have the same aesthetic as each other. In one season they add like a sand map, and then the next one it's just dirt, so it's not technically the same, but it's like just looks and feels pretty similar. They have not done that in this case. They've done pretty much the polar opposites of each other. And for example, if we were to get a more green map in the next one and then a more urban map in season 5, then they'd have a really good mix there. So overall, very happy with the map so far, and based on what they've added to the game since launch, I think we're going to get some very good maps in the future. Now, before we go any further, if you guys are new to the channel and you are interested in more Star Wars Hunters content, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications so you don't miss out on any upcoming Star Wars Hunters content. Now, moving on to, I guess, the smaller elements of the season. The first thing that I'm going to get to here is actually a bit of a negative, and this is to do with the new addition to the store in the Arena Vaults. Now, I'm not going to lie, I do have a bit of an issue with the Arena Vaults, and it's actually not me having an issue, it's more having an issue with what it could cause in the future. So I want to make that known. I know there's going to be comments going, oh, this guy's just having a cry about the new addition. I personally don't care. I actually do not care one bit about the fact that they've pretty much put loot boxes in the game. It doesn't bother me whatsoever. I've always been pretty fine with microtransactions as long as it's not pay to win. So this is not me having an issue with it. It's more that it can cause a lot of drama, and that is something I just think we definitely do not need for this game. The issue with the Arena Vaults is that they are just incredibly overpriced. They can cost like multiple hundreds of dollars to try and finish one, unless you are really lucky and you get the item that you want right away. But let's be honest, with these Arena Vaults, we all want the skins, the little stickers and stuff. No one really cares about them. Sure, they're good to have, but it's no one's spinning these loot boxes to try and get a sticker, let's be honest. So if you want to get the actual skins, it can often cost you multiple hundreds of dollars if you're going to do multiple of these. I think it has about a 0.02% chance to get any of the gold items, the legendary items, which in most cases those skins or the weapon wraps are. So it is just massively overpriced. And again, you can get lucky. That is the point of it, is that you could just spin once and get, you know, the legendary item straight away, and that's an awesome win for you. But in most cases, that is just definitely not going to be the case. And so they've just kind of put something in the game that is just like stupidly priced, which does also technically have a bit of a gambling mechanic to it. Now, again, for me, I don't care. I actually do not care. I never cared when it was in Battlefront 2. People had such issues with that, and I do get the issues, but me personally, I just don't care. If I don't want to pay for it, I won't pay for it. And if I do want to pay for it, then I'll pay for it. It is, I don't know how people don't understand that, but it does still have negative connotations, and even though I just said what I said, I still agree with what other people will say as well. If people have an issue with it, I can't really argue against that. And so that's kind of where my concern comes in here, is that this could bring drama to the game. They have technically added loot boxes into another Star Wars multiplayer game, which if you live under a rock, maybe you didn't know that Battlefront 2 was one of the biggest launch dramas that has ever been seen in a multiplayer game, or really just any game for that matter. That game genuinely got banned in multiple countries because of the gambling aspects to it. So we just do not need that drama. Again, that's my concern. It's not me going, oh, this sucks. I personally don't care. It's just what it could bring in the future. I am very concerned about that. If we get the next multiplayer Star Wars game after Battlefront 2, or I guess there was Squadrons, but in terms of a shooter, if the next one after Battlefront 2 also has loot boxes and people find out about that and start complaining, that is not a good look for this game, and it could cause a hell of a lot of drama that we definitely do not want for Star Wars Hunters. Outside of that though, I will say the content itself in the Arena Vaults is all really good. The skins all look good and stuff like that. So I'm not, again, complaining that, oh, this whole thing sucks. I personally don't care. I'm not going to buy any because they're just stupidly overpriced. But the content itself is good. It's just the gambling aspect that I think brings, a lot of concern for unwanted drama that could potentially kill the game in the future, and I'm sure you will agree that is definitely not what we want. Now, to end on some positives though, because overall the season is very positive to me, even though I just complained about the Arena Vaults for a while. That is like, 5% of the whole season. The rest of it is really solid. Something that I love that they didn't really showcase they were going to be doing is the new emotes, obviously sort of replacing, not fully replacing, but kind of replacing the stickers, where you can just replace those with the new emotes, they're all really cool, and that's a great way to add something else into the game that I care about. I'm not gonna lie, I don't care about the stickers. I literally never use the stickers. The most I'll do is give a thumbs up when, you know, my team clutches a win and we all give each other a thumbs up or something. That's literally the most I've ever done with the stickers. Whereas now with the emotes, it's actually kind of fun to use them, and they could add some really cool stuff there in the future. So that's a really good addition in my opinion, and it adds something else to the bundles, for example, that I actually kind of care about now. When I was buying bundles in the past, it's just for the skin. I do not care about the stickers. I don't really care that much about the avatars, but now with the emotes, if they add some really cool ones in there, that's something else that makes me kind of feel like those bundles are a bit more worth it. I also think the Arena Pass once again seems really solid. They seem like they're kind of growing season on season. There's always really good skins in there. Honestly, the team behind the, I guess, concept art and the people who actually bring that concept art to life in terms of all the skins and just the overall aesthetics for this game, those people need a damn raise. The game has got some absolutely insane skins that are so unique and creative, and they still feel very Star Warsy, but they're just something you would never ever see in any, you know, you wouldn't see these skins in a Battlefront 2. Seeing like Aaron Tal wearing a Mandalorian suit, but it's like a rebel pilot outfit, that sort of thing is just absolutely awesome to me. And yeah, those guys honestly deserve a raise. So once again, another very solid Arena Pass. And I guess kind of touching on that too, again, I love the theme. I love seasons that have themes, and obviously last season had the Imperial theme. I did call it last season. I said that this season will most likely have a Rebellion theme, and that is obviously the case here, and I'm a big fan of that. I love it when it all kind of ties together, and hopefully they keep doing that in the future, because there's some really awesome stuff they could do. They're already teasing. There's a lot of like High Republic stuff this season. We could get High Republic seasons, we could get Separatist seasons, we could get literally whatever, and I'm very, very excited to see what they do in the future. But that is going to do it for my very late Season 3 review. I'm keen to hear all of your thoughts as well, so be sure to leave them down in the comment section, and leave your thoughts as well on the Arena Vaults too. I'm kind of keen to see what everyone thinks. To be fair, I haven't seen that many people complaining about it just yet, so maybe no one else cares, and if no one else cares, then I also don't care, because like I said, it's not that big of an issue to me. So I'm keen to hear all of your thoughts on that as well. But with that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and may the force be with you always.